Hello there and welcome to Novel Writing, pages 1 to 384. My name is Sarah and I'm the Creative Director for Writers Essentials. This is a creative writing programme made up of 12 sessions on how to plan a novel, from conception right through to submission. So what do I mean by playing with words? We all know how to use words, we all know how to form sentences and paragraphs and chapters and even entire books, if we have the time. But there's a lot more to it than that. There's more to just putting words on a page and getting an idea across from your head to the mind of the person you're writing to, or whatever it might be. So when you write to someone you know really well, when you send them a text or an email, you probably won't write in whole sentences. You'll use off-the-cuff language. You'll say things like, yeah, sure, see you later, fine, whatever it might be. When you're writing maybe a more awkward letter or email to somebody with an awkward topic or someone you don't know, you're going to be more careful what language you use. You're going to move your words around. You might even reread it, read it out loud, get someone else to read it, in order to make sure that the words you're using have the effect you want and don't have the effect you don't want them to have. It's the same with writing fiction. When you write fiction, when you write anything for that matter, it's about the right words in the right order for the right effect, the effect that you're going for. And when you know how to use words, when you know what they can do, when you put them in a different order, when you play around with them, move them around, it's absolutely incredible. That is what is good writing. So you can write scenes that make your skin crawl. You can create really funny scenes that make people laugh out loud on a bus. You can write beautiful love poems that give other people that lovely tingly feeling inside. All of this is about carefully crafted words, words put in the right order for the desired reaction from the person reading them. And what is that reaction? What is it we're trying to do when we write novels, when we put words on a page? When you watch a film, you have lots and lots of things that you're enjoying when you're watching the film, lots of things the filmmaker has used to keep you entertained. You have pretty people, you have sound, you have special effects and CGI and all sorts of things to keep you immersed and entertained and in that world of the story of the film. We're trying to do the same thing as writers, but we don't have any of that stuff. All we have is words. There is nowhere to hide behind anything else. All we have is the words on the page to keep our readers immersed and entertained and keeping them reading. But you can do that. When you use the right words in the right order for the right effect, you can take a reader into that world. You can keep them immersed and entertained and do so right from pages 1 to 384 or whatever is the last page of the book. So how do we do that? How do we use the right words to keep the readers entertained and immersed? There's lots of different ways you can look at this, but the way I want to put it to you is by creating good visuals. When you use the right words and the right effect, for the right effect, you create a visual in the mind of the reader. In the same way that somebody watching a film can see the film unfolding in front of their eyes, if you use the right words, what happens when the reader is reading is that the room around them disappears. They fall through a window into the world you have created, the story you have written. They see the characters walking around and they're immersed in that story, in that place. That's what keeps a person immersed and reading on and enjoying reading. And that's what we're going for. So how do you create strong visuals? You create strong visuals by using the right word, or the right word to the right effect. What do I mean by the right words? It's the word or words you use that get the picture from your mind into the mind of the reader, creating that visual as effectively as possible. And there are 3 ways I want you to think you can think about this when you're choosing the right word, although there are many others as well. And the first one is make every word count. Don't use 3 okay-ish words when you could use one really good word, one really effective, well-chosen word. So when you describe someone walking into a room, you say, he walked into the room. What does that really reveal to the reader? What visual does that create? It tells them somebody has walked into the room. It doesn't tell them how they've walked in, it doesn't tell them what kind of mood they're in, it doesn't imply what's going to happen next, and it doesn't build a very good visual. It's flat, it's dull. So you put an adverb in. You support the weak verb walked with an adverb, briskly, quickly, angrily, whatever it might be. But that's not as effective. Instead of using 2 words, walked quickly, you could just use one strong verb. So instead of saying he walked quickly, how about he dashed, he jumped, he bounced, he sprinted into the room? Now that's a more interesting word. All of those are more interesting words than just he walked, but it also reveals something of how he walked, not just quickly, but the manner in which he walked. Bounced implies he's happy. Dashed implies there's something really quite urgent. You could have stormed into a room, which is a wonderful verb. It really implies someone is angry. So that's what you can do with words when you choose them well. You can make them do more than one job. You can make them reveal more than just the fact that he'd walked into the room. The second one is time, place, person. Make the words you use specific to the context, to that moment in the story. There's lots of ways you can look at this, but here are a few. Think about the place the story is set, the time period, the country, the city, the region. You may not want to write in regional accents because that can be quite difficult, and you're probably writing in English if you're watching this. But you can also use words that are specific to different areas. Take the word hen, it's Scottish. If you were coming from Newcastle, they might say pet. If you're coming from Bristol, they'd say lover. That's the kind of words you can move around to give an indication of where the place is. Then look at the time period. Look at the character and what background they have, their class, their gender, their age, their educational level. All these things will affect what words they use. Then look at what's happened specifically at that moment. What's just happened? What's just happened to that particular character? What's happened in the room the character's walking into or speaking into? What is the subtext? What is the person thinking? What are they wanting to say they cannot say or too afraid to say? What are they thinking as well as saying? Also, what is their relationship between them and the character they're speaking to? And this can also be affected by who else is in the room. The third one is do it once and do it well. A lot of writers think that to get an idea across to a reader, particularly if it's an important idea, they have to labour the point. They have to make it really obvious, really clear. So they do it repeatedly, or they overemphasise the idea, and the reader will end up feeling bored or even patronised. You have to have enough confidence in the intelligence of your reader and in your own writing that when you make a point, you make it once, you make it well, and the reader will understand what is happening. This is really, really difficult. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of hard work, but it's what makes for really strong, compelling writing, and that's what we're going for. Okay, now you can apply this to your writing. If you've already written a novel or half a novel or however much it might be, go back to your pages, go back sentence by sentence and word by word and play with your words, move them around, change them, take out your adverbs, make stronger verbs, look at what words you've used and think, is that quite a generic way of saying that, or is that really how that character will have said that thing at that time? Give your characters individual voices, give your characters specific words that that character uses because it fits them and fits the time and fits the place. Then you can try other things. Try playing with the tense. Try writing something in present tense instead of past tense and see what happens. Try writing from in third person instead of the first person, or vice versa, and see what happens. Take a paragraph, take a whole chapter even, rewrite it from a different character's point of view. How does that affect the words that you use, and how does it affect the overall tone of the book, or how you feel about it? What can you add? What can you change? Make every word count. Make every word do its job and do it well. And if it isn't doing one, if it doesn't need to be there, if it's actually repeating something that another word is doing, take it out. Finally, I'll leave you with this. If you want to write, read. Read as much as you can. Read books you like, read books you read when you were younger. Read the newspapers, read poetry, read children's books, read books of different genres. Read and think about what you're reading. If you like a book, if you think it is well written, not that you're just enjoying it, but it's actually well written, why is it well written? What words has the writer used? To what effect? Why is it well written? And if it's badly written, why is it badly written? What have they not done, or done too much, or done badly? How would you improve it? How would you make it better? Next month, we'll be looking at structure and plot and how to create a structure that stands up. Enjoy for now.